Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me today. My name is Sophie Pierszalowski. I use she, her pronouns, and I am the director of the Office of Undergraduate Research at the University of Washington up here in rainy Seattle. And I'm excited to chat with you all today about early career undergraduate research programs and different ways to build a strong foundation for that sort of programming at your institution. All right. I originally trained as a molecular marine ecologist. So I have a background in research, and I started that research as an undergraduate. And it was those experiences with research that really did shape how I think about education, especially how powerful it is when students kind of make that transition from being receivers of knowledge to true creators of that knowledge. And um, who it's important to think about who has access to those really transformative experiences. So I did a pivot um, after my own research agenda into science education. And first, I got a really great position overseeing an NSF-funded undergraduate research program for early career students at Oregon State University, and then went on to oversee OSU's central unit for undergraduate research. While leading those programs at OSU, my interest in kind of understanding and improving access to undergraduate research grew even stronger, especially as I continued to connect with students navigating their first research experiences. And that led me to pursuing my PhD in science education, so that I could explore questions of access to undergraduate research and strategies for institutional change. After finishing my PhD there at OSU, I was hired to oversee the Office of Undergraduate Research here at UW. And so I'm going to tell you a little bit about the insight that I gained from work across those two institutions. So we all know that undergraduate research leads to huge gains in belonging, confidence, career clarification, academic performance, communication, all the good things. And gains in student success and belonging and retention are especially salient for students in that first year of college. So these early career programs are really an area for elevated impact. I've had the pleasure of facilitating three very different early career programs since 2014, three very different models. So I'm just highlighting here kind of high level differences in the three models. One was for first year students who immediately joined a prep seminar in their first term and engaged in research their first year with support workshops and peer mentoring and advising throughout that first year. So short on-ramp, but a ton of wraparound support in that program. Another one was less structured, right? This one was for first or second year students and transfer students in their first year. For this program, we offered a catalog of mentors that were willing to participate and asked students to put together an application with their mentor of choice. If they were selected, they received funding to do that work, and there was no additional programming, right? So this was a really large scale program, but with less programmatic structure. The third one, the early career program that I'm piloting right now at the UW, is called the Undergraduate Research Collective. This program is also for first or second year students or transfer students in their first year. And this program has a really long on-ramp with lots of wraparound support. So it's actually a 2-year program. And I'll share a little bit more of the detail of this program soon. But it's essentially a whole year of research preparation and then a whole year of research engagement. And all three of these models came with student compensation. So I just wanted to highlight a few commonalities across the programs I've run. One is a dedicated staff person. These students are early in their careers. They're navigating huge transitions to college. That comes with questions about financial aid, maybe living far away from family for the first time, social challenges. It's really important to have someone that these students know they can come to be there when a student needs to talk about anything that's connected to their kind of transition to college. So it's really great to have a dedicated staff person with any of these program models. A second one is activating the choir. So in all three of these programs, it was really important to know which mentors on campus would be great mentors for early career students. We did some pre-vetting of mentors to make sure we were picking folks who, when I say engaging the choir, kind of already knew that this was going to be mission critical for the institution and a really high impact for students as well. Facilitated connection to mentors is important as well. So reaching out to mentors, as you know, is a really big barrier for students, and it can be the thing that really prevents students from getting into research positions. And so, in all of these programs, we made sure that there was some support in actually connecting students to mentors without having them to do that on their own. Mentor support is big too. Like these mentors are committing a lot to supporting early career students, so it's important to provide them with workshops, resources, community, whatever sorts of incentives feel within your capacity to make the mentorship opportunity higher quality and easier for mentors as well. And then the final one is building program identity, and this might happen through social events. Maybe there's some swag items, maybe there's a dedicated space for students to hang out. Okay, so all of these programs, these three models have been really successful, but they were all designed in very different contexts and realities. Um, So before you even start planning for an early career program, it's important to do a critical look at the sorts of realities, possibilities, and constraints that you face, right? So thinking about context, what is your university context? Is now the right time to launch an initiative? What important moment could you leverage at your institution? Thinking about student needs, right? What are they? What kind of demographic are you serving? Are you at an institution where students come in really ready for research? Or are you developing a program where it feels like a longer on-ramp would be helpful? Thinking about faculty needs, do you have an audience of mentors who are eager and ready to mentor early career undergrads? How does it fit in with their existing workload? Do you think a research supply budget would really help incentivize research mentorship? Budget reality is obviously a big one, right? How much money do you have to spend on this program annually? How much are you able to compensate students, thinking about your specific location, maybe some comparable programs that are paying students, and how many students do you feel like you can realistically support? And then your own staffing, right? If you're planning for a really intensive wraparound support program, do you have enough staffing to do that with intention? Is there a way you can support and activate peer mentors to help enrich the program? That sort of thing. So the answers to these questions really should inform the model that you decide on, including that structure, the timing, and the amount of programming that you're able to embed into the program. So we thought intentionally about all of these considerations when building this undergraduate research program. We launched the collective this past fall, and I want to share a little bit about the model that we landed on. We wanted a program for students that had not previously done research, and so we felt like a longer on-ramp would be helpful since UW is a very large research institution. The first year obviously can be overwhelming. We wanted time to build student belonging and connection as a foundation to the UW experience before jumping into research. So we felt like a year would be a good amount of time for that. And we also wanted mentors to know that these students would be coming in their second year with a whole year of research preparation, support, community behind them. Um, we also wanted the program to be interdisciplinary, showcase the wide range of forms that research can take, sort of break down silos. And we wanted mentors to also feel a sense of connection to this program. So we're supporting 21 students in the collective right now, 21 mentors. This is kind of how we decided to lay out our timeline. So in October and November, we do welcome socials for students, and then we do a mentor welcome social as well with just the mentors so that they can connect. Then in January, the first seminar begins. As part of that course, the students meet with their mentors for the first time. That's sort of a facilitated meeting. Then in March, the second seminar begins, and we do another mentor-mentee meeting as part of an assignment in that class. So during both of those seminars, students are learning really critical research skills. And then in June, we'll get the mentors back together to kind of have a celebration and update them on where things are going. We also have social events and one-on-one advising with students during this whole first year to kind of build that foundation. And then in the second year, Students will begin their research for 5 to 10 hours a week in October. They'll be doing research all year and they'll present at our symposium in May. During that year, we won't have seminars, but we'll be doing regular workshops. We'll be meeting with students, doing social events, things like that as well. So we're excited to see how this model plays out. And I know these are short talks, but I wanted to close with some funding strategies for early career programs because I know that can be really challenging and just some ideas that have worked well for me in the past. Some universities, as we know, have really large scale early career research initiatives, which are huge institutionalized efforts. This is what I'm describing is not necessarily that. These are smaller programs with the hope of growing into something larger. And so some of the strategies that I've used to help me get there is the first one is cost sharing, right? So with one of these programs, I made a decision to fund a proportional number of students who applied in each college so that we had this kind of equal representation of student awards across disciplines. And then I went to those college deans and requested or asked if they'd be willing to match funds to support additional students in those colleges. And that college level support was huge and helped me increase the number of students receiving awards in one year from 40 to 116. So the colleges saw we were already doing something really great. We had the infrastructure and support to run it. If they just threw some more money at the effort, then we could get more students these experiences. So cost sharing can be a helpful strategy. Fundraising with intention is another good one. I mentioned earlier, when you're thinking about programming, what important moment could you leverage at your institution? So with the Undergraduate Research Collective, we were able to kind of meet the moment and fundraise in honor of an important leader at our university, whose values really aligned perfectly with the mission of the program. And I think people really got behind that idea of creating this program in their name. A third one is strategic partnerships. So I've reached out with lots of other programs and research centers on campus who have, again, similar values and really want to see this sort of access happen in their units. So we've had several partners who demonstrated interest in wanting to kind of expand their existing offerings and programs to include early career programming. And we were creating the infrastructure that they were already hoping to see. So again, they contributed in that way. So I know this is a short kind of felt like a lightning talk, but I hope it's helpful in your thinking around considerations when launching early career programs. I have loved going on this journey with all three of these programs. There's definitely no one right way to do it. And I'd be happy to connect with folks if you have any questions or would appreciate any help brainstorming as you begin your programs. So thank you for having me.